What's going on, guys? Dig here, ready to teach you how to do the Legion Outbreak Easter egg, and yes, you can do it solo. Now, your main loadout is going to be the amps. Here on your screen right now are going to be the attachments. Go ahead and take a screenshot of that and set your attachments up. Now, if you don't have the amps unlocked or level up, you can also use the M70 grenade launcher as well. It is another viable option, but I highly recommend for more skilled players to use this weapon because you have to be pretty decent with your aim. For your specialist ability, you're going to bring in Ether Shroud. Now, before I recorded this Easter egg, I leveled up my amps as well. It took me about 7 to 8 hours to get the max full level, so I highly recommend doing that so you have a successful run for this boss fight, because the boss fight is timed for 10 minutes. And if you don't complete it within that 10 minutes, you automatically fail. One tidbit before you get into this Easter egg that you need to know is that the higher the round you go to the boss fight, the harder it's going to be. So try to get into the boss fight as low as round as possible. The lowest round you can get into it is round 5, which is very achievable on Outbreak. If you've never played Outbreak, the rounds work a little bit different. Now, this next segment doesn't really pertain to anybody that hasn't done any of the Easter eggs of the game, but if you have completed the 4 main map Easter eggs, this is going to help you a lot for this Easter egg run as well and save you some time. In Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, there is a thing called a Super Easter egg. Once you complete all main quest Easter eggs, you get an award. It's similar to the BO3 RK5 if you have gotten that before. In Black Ops Cold War, the reward is spawning in with a higher tier level weapon. Depending on how many Easter eggs you have completed is the tier that you're going to receive when you start in your game, whatever weapon you choose at the start. If you have completed 2-3 Easter eggs, your weapon will spawn in green. If you have completed 4 to 5 Easter eggs, your weapon will spawn in blue. If you have completed 6 Easter eggs, your weapon will spawn in purple. Now, in order to collect this award, all you got to do is load up on Zoo on the map Outbreak. Very easy to do by clicking on private and then go into Outbreak Collapse. Once you click on this, it's going to load up a match, and then you could choose which map you want to play. If Zoo is not at the bottom left corner, go ahead and back out and then restart a private match until Zoo appears. Vote for Zoo and then launch it up. Once you arrive on the map Zoo, go ahead and proceed to this location on the map, and once you arrive, you'll find 6 pillars. You're going to interact with the center to create a pack, and once you do this, the next game that you load in, your weapon will be whatever rarity I explained earlier for the amount of Easter eggs you have completed. Now, with all that nonsense out of the way, let's get into it. Go ahead and click private and then click on Outbreak. Once your match starts up and you spawn in, go ahead and complete all orange challenges on the map, and then proceed to the star and finish that challenge as well. Now, while you are doing these challenges, if at any point an M70 grenade launcher does drop on the ground, I highly recommend picking that up as your secondary and upgrading and bringing it in the boss fight to help clear out enemies during the boss. Once you accomplish this, go to the star location and activate the portal. Please do not damage or shoot the ball that's above the Tesla coil that you started to warp, because it will skip rounds. Once you arrive to the second world, go ahead and proceed the same thing. You're going to complete all the orange challenges and then complete the star challenge, and then you're going to warp to world 3. Now, once you arrive on world 3, you're going to be looking for 1 radio and 3 amplifiers surrounding the radio. You're going to go ahead and turn on your subtitles for this next step, and you're going to interact with the radio. Once you interact with the radio, it's going to have some feedback, and you're going to eliminate the zombies and the enemies that spawn in around the area. Once you eliminate the enemies, it's going to give you a frequency number. Once you acquire this number, you're going to go to each individual amplifier and change it to that number. While you're doing this, one of them is going to have an interference. Don't worry, just go to the next amplifier and then change that number. And then every time you change the number to the correct number from the radio, Maxis will speak to you. Once you accomplish this to all 3 amplifiers, you can go back to the radio, interact with it, and then pick up the object that spawns on the ground. Now, in order to find your radio and your amplifiers, you're going to use the cheat sheets I'm going to provide on screen, and it's going to be each individual map. If you know your map name, I'll have the map name on the screen, but if you don't know, just match your mini map with my map that I'm showing you. The purple dot is going to be the radio, and the blue dots are going to be your amplifiers. Now, you can either pause your screen and take a picture of the map and go to that location and look for your radio/amplifier, or you can go to my website, Dig's Cookbook. It will be linked inside the description. Then you can click on the dots, and then it'll show you an image of where it's located and what it looks like for your convenience. I will say this took me about 2 days to get all the pictures and everything set up on my website. It's also compatible with your phone as well. I have it the correct size and dimensions, and it is perfect for web browsers. So whatever you prefer, you can use either your phone or your computer. Once you accomplish the radio step, go ahead and finish all your orange challenges if you have not, and finish your star challenge. Now, before you warp, you'll see a phone icon on the warp station. Go ahead and click on it to call Maxis. Once you call Maxis, go ahead and warp to the world 4. Now, while you're on world 4, you're going to have to look for a monkey bomb that will have a film reel inside of it. Every map will have 4 different locations for these monkey bombs, and then it's always random which monkey bomb's going to have it. Again, follow the maps that I provided earlier, and the monkey bombs are going to be the red dots. Or you can go to my webpage and click on the red dots to get an image where the monkey bomb is located around that area. But once you find your monkey and you destroy it and you pick up the film reel, go ahead to the maps once again and look for the orange dot or the yellow dot, depending on if you're on mobile or if you're on the web browser, and then you're going to find a projector. You're going to go ahead and place the film reel inside the projector and then flip through the reels while Max is talking talks to you. Once you can flip through the rail freely without Maxes talking to you, you are ready for the next step. All you got to do now is finish your orange challenges and your star challenge and warp to the next map. The next map will send you to Ruka. Once you spawn on the map Ruka, go ahead and complete your orange challenges. Now, I want you to keep in mind before you go to the star, once you go to the star, you're going to complete the last steps of the Easter egg, and then you're going to go into the boss fight. So please try to get yourself set up before you go to the star, but you can also get yourself set up down at the star area too as well, because pack-a-punch, armor stands, and everything will be there for you to get set up for the boss before you go in. But once you are ready, go to the star and enter the elevator. Activate it, and once you reach the bottom, go to your left and enter the missile silo D. Once you enter, go ahead and run in circles until you find the zip line to reach the very top. Once you reach the top, you're going to be looking for this map area, and on the console below, you're going to find 3 bars. One's going to be green and 2 others are going to be red. This is going to indicate what button you're going to press later in the Easter egg. Since we're in silo D and my first bar is green, then I know D is going to be first. So you're going to go ahead and write down D equals 1. Once you achieve this, you're going to stay on the top floor, run in circles until you find a hallway that will reach a corridor. Once you reach this corridor, you're going to go to your immediate left and you're going to go into silo A. Once you arrive in silo A, you're going to look for the exact same map in the same panel. You're going to look at the color of the bar, then you're going to write down the order of the color that's on the bar. Since mine is in the second slot, that means silo A is going to be number 2. And since there's only 3 bars, then I know silo B will be my third input. So go ahead and write that down or take a mental note so you can use that later on in Easter egg. Just keep in mind that every single game you play, it will be different every time. But once you have that written down, go ahead and drop to the bottom floor of the silo and you're going to look for this open area. If you proceed to the right side, you're going to find a button and you're going to interact with it, and then a cutscene's going to play. Once the cutscene's over, you're going to be in silo B. You're going to immediately drop down to the bottom and you're going to look for this big giant red star. In the middle, you're going to find a canister. You're going to interact with it and then it's going to rise up. Now, proceeding around the area, you're going to find a bunch of crystals. You're going to destroy them and pick up the crystals off the ground. You're going to need 20 in total. Once you collect 20 in total, go back to the canister and hold down your interact button to input them in. Be careful during this because once you start doing this, it's going to have a bunch of enemies spawn in. When the enemies do spawn in, you don't have to stay in that area. You can take them out and then come back and finish putting in the rest. Once you place all 20 crystals in, it's going to go right back down and charge up the canister. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next step of the Easter egg while it's charging up. In the meantime as well, I need you to keep in the back of your mind, do not go upstairs inside that big corridor area that I mentioned earlier, because if you do, it will spawn in a crap ton of mimics. What you're going to do now is you're going to go back to that big giant area that you opened up earlier, go across, and then we're going to do the next step of the Easter egg. At the bottom floor, you're going to find a red tunnel and you're going to find a essence trap to the bottom left with a banana attached to it. Go ahead and pick that up. Now in the surrounding area in the silo, you're going to look for a monkey. It's going to be making monkey noises. Once you find the blue monkey inside of an event, you're going to not get close to it because it will disappear and go to a different location inside the silo. You're going to get kind of close, throw the essence trap on the ground, and then you're going to stay your distance away and you're going to wait for it to get trapped inside the essence trap. You're going to double click your interact button to trap it. Once you trap it, you're going to pick up the key that it dropped. Now you're going to go back through the way that you came and you're going to go pick up the pink canister. Once you pick up the pink canister, you're going to go to the hallway that leads you into the corridor. Immediately run to your left and you're going to look for silo C above the doorway. At the end of the hallway, you're going to find a body. Go ahead and pick up the key and it's going to spawn in a red mimic. Activate your specials ability with the canister and it should eliminate it. Whatever mimics followed you into that corner, go ahead and activate your canister once again to eliminate them as well. Once you eliminate the mimics, go ahead and pick up the key that dropped on the floor from the red mimic. Now you should have 1 charge left in your canister. Proceed to go to silo D and you're going to run around until you find this jellyfish. On the right side stairs, you're going to go to the top until you find the grass on the floor. Once you find the grass, stand on top of it and activate your canister. This will proceed to float you inside the jellyfish, and as you're going down, you're going to pick up the key. Now, once you have all 3 keys, I highly recommend get set up for the boss fight. Make sure you get new armor, make sure you pack a bunch of weapons, and make sure you upgrade your weapons as well. For the last step of the Easter egg, you're going to interact with those panels that I stated earlier in the order that you figured out. Make sure you do this quick because you will be timed. Once you interact with the last third panel, go back to the top floor to the corridor, and in the middle, you're going to find stairs. Go to the very top, and then a door is going to be available to be open after some time. Once you open this door, the boss fight will start. The first thing we're going to go over is his attacks. The only attacks that he can do is that he'll go to one of the corners and block off the area with purple smoke. Just make sure you don't stand inside the purple smoke. The other attack that he will do, he will leave a shock orb on the ground around you. You just got to move out of the way and not stand inside of it. Now back to the start of the boss fight. After 20 seconds, the Legion will spawn in. You're going to start dumping damage into his chest. You really want to do this because once he gets to an area where you're going to have to actually damage him, it's going to break his armor immediately if you start doing damage early on. And during this stage, before he teleports to a corner, corner, no zombies will spawn in, but as soon as he teleports to a corner, they will start spawning in. After a while, the Legion will either spawn in the middle, left, right, or behind you, and this is the point where you're going to break his armor, then orbs are going to slowly float out of him. You're going to start dumping damage into one orb, specifically have everybody shoot one orb to break it entirely. Once you do this, this will take a chunk of his health. And now all you got to do is rinse and repeat by doing damage to him while he's in the corner, and then you're going to wait till he goes to one of the sides, and then you're going to damage him to break his armor, destroy one of the orbs to do more damage to his health. I will say in between while you are waiting and he's in the corners for him to go to the left or right or take out mimics, armor zombies, or panzers, or any elites to pick up more armor and to get more ether shrouds so you can hide while you're doing damage to the orbs. But once he goes to one of the last sides and you destroy his armor and destroy the last orb, you have completed the boss fight for the Legion Easter egg. If you found this guide useful, please do not forget to leave a sub, follow, or a like on the video. It helps out greatly. I spent a lot of time in this Easter egg to get you all those locations for the Mookie Bombs amplifiers, so it'd be really greatly appreciated. Other than that, thank you so much for everybody else that supports my other Easter egg guides. I'll catch you guys in the second Outbreak Easter egg in the next video. Peace.